Hey guys, it's Kells here today. I know a lot of you guys are probably watching football, or I don't even know what y'all doing. But I still am gonna come on Sundays, I think. Hey sis, hey Less for Life. I think that I'm gonna try to come on Fridays and on Sundays. Hey Island Chica. Um, so you guys know the drill. You guys know the drill. When you come in, come on in, come on in. Announce yourself in the comments. Let me know where you're watching us from, and oh, is this topic hot? She says, "Nah, I'm making money and tuning in because this topic is hot." Is it hot? You guys asked me to talk about that new show, To Rome for Love. And I gotta be honest with you, your girl does not have cable right now because Comcast, Comcast like really went off their rocker and jacked my cable up to like $170. And I saw that come out of my account and I was like, are you guys dumb? Are you dumb? Like, put the cable down to the most basic level. And so now I don't have any of so me be, so me being popping off on Comcast and telling them to put it down to the most basic level. Now I don't got Bravo, I don't got VH1. Now normally I watch Bravo all the time because I love all my, the Bravo housewives and all of them. But I don't normally watch VH1, but I wanted to see VH1 because, Love and Hip Hop Miami and Amara La Negra is like my spirit animal. So I wanted to see that, but I can't see any of it. So I'm thinking about putting my cable back up because my Fire Stick that my brother got me is conked out. It needs updating and stuff like that. And I don't know how to do it. So now I'm sitting here with a TV with old basic cable, and you guys are asking me to watch this To Rome for Love show where the five or six women are ushered over to Rome to begin dating overseas to see if they could find love in Italy. And that's the premise of the show. And they're working with a matchmaker to help them do that. And you guys know that I have feelings about Italy and black women and just dating overseas in general. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. But the first thing I need you guys to do is smash, smash, smash that like button. If you're here and you're not already subscribed, please do me that favor of subscribing and putting your notifications on so you know when we go live. What am I drinking today? Might be that brown liquor. It might be tea. It's tea. Chill out. It's tea. Okay, guys? It's definitely my tea. So you might need to get yourself a little snack, get yourself some tea, some brown liquor, whatever you want to drink, because we're going to get into it in just a few more, like 2 more seconds. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think we should get into it. Okay. So, just a disclaimer, I've seen only one episode of that To Rome for Love show because I said Comcast is dumb and I had to like bring it down to the most basic level. But I did see one episode of it and I did have some initial kind of just thoughts. I'm not giving a full on review of the whole series or a show by show review because I haven't seen more than the snippets that are posted on YouTube, which I did go look at. I did glimpse a couple reviews online, but they were, it's few and far between. I don't think people are really watching this show. And I did watch one full episode, and I think it was episode like 2 or 3. I'm not sure. And I don't know. I can't even remember how I watched that. But anyway, so I will give you some initial thoughts about that To Rome for Love show. So actually, let me step back a little bit. You guys know that I've said a couple of times on this channel that if you really want your ego stroked, if you really want to feel like a baddie, you should go to Italy because Italian men love women. It's melanated women, and that's been my experience in London and in other places of the world. It's like Italian men kind of gravitate towards chocolate women. But the thing with it is that I think I needed to like put a couple of disclaimers in there when you're talking about that like going overseas type thing. Hey Ty girl, hey, thanks for joining us, come on in. And I see you guys in the comments. Thank you guys so much for announcing yourselves when you come in. I love that. Okay, so the first thing I'll say is that you can go over to Italy, but if you're going over there seriously to try to date, or if you're going anywhere overseas seriously to try to date, you need to temper your American expectations, and you probably need to temper your American personality a little bit too, because we have a tendency to be real loud. And I'm not talking about Black Americans or like trying to say people are ghetto. I'm just saying Americans in general, we are extremely loud in the way that we vocalize. And so you could hear us a mile away. Now in the US, you're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But when you go to London or when you go to any place overseas, I'm talking about Europe in general, you can always hear the Americans way across the tables or way across the rooms because we speak almost at the top of our lungs all the time. And so when I was watching the Two Rome for Love show, I could see these women, and these women just was loud. You know what I mean? And I'm like, when you're in Europe, you have to do as the Romans do. You know that phrase, right? So do as the Romans do. That's not just with this show, but it's in general. So you have to kind of acclimate yourself to your surroundings. You know what I mean? So you can't go with your like normal American, like, hey, what's up? How my hair look? Okay, yeah. And even if you're not ghetto, okay, say that's a ghetto, caricature. But say you're just like, even if you're just like a professional woman, we're very business oriented here. So you go and you do your handshake. How you doing? Oh, hi, it's Kells. How are you doing? Nice to meet you. What do you do? What do I do? What do we do? That is not necessarily how things roll everywhere. So the first thing I would say that I noticed on the show, and that I would put as a disclaimer if you're trying to go overseas to date, is like, don't just go in with your same attitude, your same expectations, your same modus operandi of how you behave in the US and go over to anywhere you go and think, oh, I can bring that same attitude, that same personality, those same expectations, and get some amazing results. Because Kells said they like chocolate. So I could go over here and do whatever I want, be my same loud self, and they supposed to flock. No, boo-boo. Kells did not tell you that. Kells is telling you now, you need to go over there and pay, watch, observe, be a little bit more quiet and introspective a little bit, and observe before you go over there with your little pop and attitude thinking everybody's going to flock to you. It's not necessarily true. So I think my first recommendation and the first thing I noticed about the show is a lot of the women kind of just went over there and acted exactly the same. Like the same way they behave in Atlanta or Texas or wherever they're from. As a reminder, I did not see the opening show, so I don't know where all these women are from. I just know that they have various ages. Some are, I think the youngest was in her 20s, and she's a Florida Gator, and from Miami, Florida, and so okay. And then the oldest, I think she was like in her 50s, and I think she's some sort of like D level celebrity, because they keep saying she's a celebrity, but I have no idea who this woman is. So maybe she's an old time celebrity I don't know about. But there is like a diversity of women on the show. And the thing that I noticed that they kind of go over there and behave exactly the way that you would behave in the States. And my recommendation is that wherever you go, if you're stepping outside of your comfort zone for love, if you're going to go abroad for love, if you're going to go into an unknown territory or scene for love, whether that means going to the St. Regis or the Ritz-Carlton for happy hour in your town, or if it means going over the ocean to Italy or to London for love, the first thing you do is you need to observe. Don't go, you step into an unknown territory or like a territory that's like a little bit different for you. Hush and observe how the women move, how the men move, how you can bring your personality to the place, but still not stick out like a sore thumb. Because Americans, we be sticking out like sore thumbs. In some places, we just look like money. Like in the poorer countries, you just look at you can see an American and be like, oh, there go American, let me rob them. We have a tendency to wear sneakers on the beach, which is real crazy. We have a tendency to wear athletic gear and caps and our hair in these messy buns all the time. Yeah, I might be reading myself right now. We have a tendency to speak really, really loud. But also Black women have a tendency to be extremely beautiful and put together, so that you kind of do stand out. So there's certain things that call you out. And so be careful not to stick out like a sore thumb behaving in an exactly the same way you would behave in the US. Go there and observe wherever you go, wherever you're out of your comfort zone, go and observe first, and then merge your personality with the personalities and energy of those around you to get the best results. Okay, so that's the first thing I noticed about the show. Okay. Uh oh my gosh, are you guys having I'm seeing gotta refresh. She's fine for me. Oh no, are you guys having delay issues? Let me know. Are you guys having delay issues? Let me know before I go on. Lust for Life is not. MA, major lag time. Your cute little face is frozen on my screen. I'm sorry, boo boo. Are you back? Not here in Indy. Okay, y'all good. Lust for Life. You need to pay your wireless bill. Okay, so that's the first thing I noticed about the Bravo show, To Rome for Love. I have my notes down here. That's why I'm looking down. The other thing that, I saw somebody in the comments, they said, oh, Google the culture and all of that. Yeah, you can do all of that. And the internet, YouTube videos. I mean, you guys are here on YouTube, so you guys know you could Google anything from how to fix a zipper to, reviews of all kinds of things, to travel, to best places to travel in South America. I was literally just YouTubing that the other day. You can do so much research on YouTube and see video evidence of anything. So definitely do your research before you go to these places. But I still say, as soon as you get there, hush and observe. Hush and observe. You know what I mean? And that's going to be your biggest teacher when you're trying to fit into an environment that's a little bit different from you, when you have a distinct, mission, right? If your mission is to see what love is like overseas, then see what is attractive to them. And don't go in entitled and assume, because it's Kells told you, if you want to be a baddie, go to Italy, and now y'all over there acting, ratchet, thinking that people are going to flock. They're not. So just observe first and foremost. The other thing is that you guys know I talk about looks a lot. And I hope, I hope you guys understand, women particularly, and men too. Men need to be put together, but hopefully you guys don't be like, Kelly is all about looks. That's all she talk about. I mean, I have to be, hopefully you guys don't feel that way. But just one thing I noticed, one thing that has been said to me in the past, and I hope y'all don't take offense, that I noticed on this show, To Rome with Love, are tattoos. Now, when I was younger, I was like, oh, I should get a tattoo, but what am I gonna get? Like, I don't even know, what kind of tattoo I should get. And I never ended up getting any tattoos, because I was like, there's nothing I wanted that I really wanted permanent on my body. And my mom and my dad, they don't have tattoos or anything like that. And now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, thank God I didn't put no tattoo on my body. And I promise you, I've traveled to places and people have been like, so no tattoos? No tattoos? And I'm like, no tattoos. Got some piercings, but no tattoos. And they're like, oh, American, no tattoos. And people are literally shocked that I don't have any tattoos, right? And it makes you stand out. So before, when nobody had tattoos and everybody was trying to get a little tattoo to make themselves distinct or stylish, now it's like the pendulum is the complete opposite way. Everybody got a tattoo, so much so now that if you don't have one, people are like, oh, you don't have a tattoo? Oh. And they're like, their little eyebrow like perk up on you, right? So I say this to say, the women on this show, they got tattoos from their hair follicles to their toenails. Tatted up. I'm like, oh. Yes, I get the artistic thing with tattoos. You guys know I like art. Clearly the way I wear my makeup, clearly the way I do my nails, clearly the stuff I got in my background tells you, oh, this person is creatively inclined. But dang, them tattoos, boy, just be careful on them, because the way they look, even on television, or the way they look when you step into a different culture, can put you in a class that you might now want to transcend. So as a younger person, you're like, oh, I'm a baddie. I got rose bunches tattooed on my arm and my neck, and I got a kiss on my neck and all of this. And then when you're in your late 20s, or you're in your early 30s, or you're in your early 40s, or you're in your early 50s, and your tattoos are showing, it might not represent you the same way. So just be careful of that. And that's one of the things, the appearance, the attire, the femininity, the way you present yourself and things like that. Like a lot of those things I noticed with the women over there, they were just super American. You know what I mean? And and it stands out against other cultures. And I don't mean against, but it means, I mean, it makes you stand out a little bit like a sore thumb, and they can easily peg you, easily identify you. So just be careful about those things long term. I mean, that's less about a tip for like when you're going overseas for love, but just more about a tip um, of how you're received when you go in other cultures, especially when you're trying to look for love or present yourself a certain way. Um, all right. So, another thing that I notice about with some of the women is that their style of dress, their style of dress. Some of these women were wearing like club tight attire. I'm talking about on the show that you would wear like in Miami or that you would wear like in Atlanta. Some of them were wearing very casual t-shirts with rhinestones on them, with jeans, with like boot cut jeans and like a little blazer that they got at Express, thrown over. And I was just like, sis, you look like that is not, I don't know if you should be wearing that in Italy. Love, you're in Rome. You're in Rome. You need to step it all the way up. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean expensive. That doesn't mean, like outside of who you are, but it means look at what the other women are wearing. They are indeed still your competition. Just because if you can't compete in the US, don't think you can go overseas and just automatically complete. Hey Tam, thank you for tuning in. You know what I mean? Like doesn't mean you still have to compete. You're still competing. So this means that if the women in Europe are well dressed and elegant and sleek and solid colors, looser fitting clothing, more Zara and H&M and less Express and Forever 21, less tight clothes, you need to be able to understand that you probably need to look at that clothing and how you're presenting yourself as well. You know what I mean? And so, I just say all this to say, yes, they love, they really will chase you down, but you still have to think that you're competing. You still have to think, how am I standing out? How am I presenting myself? Am I going to pick up the bottom rung of these foreign guys, or I'm going to pick up the middle rung, or I'm going to pick the highest rung of these foreign guys based on how I present myself and how I stand out against the other women in the place. They're local women or other expats or traveling women. And usually when you're a traveling woman, especially when you're a solo traveler, you are usually savvy. You know what I mean? So, sleek, your bag is nice, your shoes are nice, you know what I mean? Like your clothing is looser fitting. Americans, we have a tendency to wear this clingy, especially when we're trying to be sexy. You got the boobs pushed up underneath the neck, and you got the cleavage showing, and you got the tight short and the booty popping, and it's very Instagram thought and less elegant, well-traveled, melanin sister. So, be careful of what you're bringing, you know what I mean? And I saw this on the show. I saw these girls, they had t-shirts with rhinestones on them. Excuse me, promoting, I guess she was promoting her business, but I'm like, sis, rhinestones? Okay, not could use some work in the elegance and femininity side. A blazer, I mean, if it was a dress, a beautiful flowing dress with a nice Balmain style type, well-structured blazer, yes, is, a nice black bag, nice boots, you know what I mean? Like, put it together. Keep still, if you like blazers, then put together with a beautiful flowing dress, because that's what they would wear in Rome, right? You got it on with jeans, boot cut jeans, rhinestone t-shirt, and the ill-fitting blazer, and your hair in a doggone ponytail. Sis, you have to compete. You know what I mean? So don't go to Italy thinking that they just gonna pick you up, or you just gonna get picked up by the basics, same way it would be here. So just as you guys know, we're learning from the collective wisdom of the itskellscollective community, and I am not the expert. I can give you my opinion. And you guys are chiming in the comments. There's a lot of you in here tonight. This must be a topic you guys are interested in. Y'all want to go overseas for love? Y'all gave up on the U.S.? Don't give up on your homeland. Do not give up on your homeland, and don't feed into the propaganda. You know I talk about a lot about that on this channel, right? What y'all sipping on tonight? Nobody said anything. What are y'all sipping on tonight? I got my, what is this? Fair Trade Rooibos. What is this? What kind of tea is this? I don't know. It's some fruit tea with no caffeine in it because I'm already too hyped. That green, you sipping on that green? I'm already too hyped, so I don't have any caffeine in my cup tonight. Okay, so yes, the dress and the elegant and not standing out. Popeye sweet tea. Okay, random. And not standing out, you know, too different than the other women that are around when you go overseas. Okay. Two couple other things that I noticed about the show that I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. The angry black woman syndrome, or the moody black woman syndrome, or the attitudinal, you know, sassy black woman syndrome. Now, you guys know I'm sassy. So it's gonna be like, well, look at Kells calling the kettle black. The pot black, the kettle black. You know the saying I'm talking about. Look at Kells calling the pot the kettle black, the pot calling the kettle black or whatever. But I'm not saying don't be sassy. I'm not saying don't be yourself. I'm not saying don't bring that fire, because black girl be bringing that fire. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, in personality wise, I don't say that. But what I'm saying is that if you have deep rooted self-esteem issues that you use a bad attitude or quick to pop off or your sass to mask, you going overseas to try to date elsewhere is not going to be a cure for that. A lot of times these attitudes that you see, the angry black woman or the quick sass or the chat back or the this and the this and all of these stereotypes that they place on black women, it really is a protection barrier to try to keep people at bay away from you, because you either have self-esteem issues, daddy issues, mommy issues, self-worth issues, those types of things. So I saw a woman on the show, this Two Room for this Bravo show that we're talking about tonight, and she had a little attitude, and I just felt like, hun, you have self-esteem issues that you need to work out. You need to understand how to make yourself, how to have your internal dialogue be more self-affirming. And my friend texted me today. She was like, how are you, Kells? I'm like, I'm doing good. I've been working for several months on my internal dialogue, and I'm feeling really good. What does that mean? How you speak to yourself, how you think, how you feel on the surface and subconscious level. If you have not been working on that, if you have not been writing down, noticing things and having affirmations for yourself and how to speak life into yourself, you in 2018 work on that, because you dating and thinking that you're going to escape some sort of bad dating habits by going overseas is not going to help you, because you're just going to be more insecure over there. You're still not going to know what you're looking for. You're still not going to feel deserving. You're going to come with that sass and that and I don't, or that kind of heavy energy that don't nobody want to be around. You know what I mean? And so that barrier, sometimes that sass that you see from black women, that attitudinal issue, that strong black woman persona, it is literally a persona that some of us have embodied to try to protect ourselves and to try to care for ourselves in the absence of being protected by our families, our men, our community, our society. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have to work on kind of chipping that away and breaking that down and being able to be open, be soft, be feminine, be a receiver, feel worthy of receiving, feel worthy of being cared for as a beautiful feminine woman who is deserving of being loved. You have to know how to speak that. And if you can't speak it honestly to yourself internally in your mind, the way that you talk about yourself, the way that you care for yourself, the way that you encourage yourself, the way that you motivate yourself, if you're not there internally, you can go from here to BFE, Egypt, to try to find love and to try to date and to try to find a community and to try to find your tribe, your squad, your collective. And you ain't gonna find it because you haven't done the internal work. Internal work is your internal dialogue, how you speak to yourself and how you truly feel about yourself and your worthiness and your power and your capacity in this world. Okay. Lord Kells on her soapbox. Every time she get on live, this girl got a soapbox to talk about. She preaching again. Yes, God, that's what you here for. Aren't you here for my preaching? Yes, you are. Okay. So I saw a little attitudinal and I was like, sis, you need to work on your self-esteem. Because whenever I see somebody with pure attitude, mouth, neck, hand, I just think, oh, her self-esteem is not where it needs to be. And not him, not her only, him too. Like whenever I see that, I know, okay, there's something they need to work on internally. Okay, so that was one of the things that I noticed from one of the women in this Two Room for Love show, this new Bravo show that we're talking about, that you guys asked me to talk about, that I can't barely talk about because I don't got cable. Okay, I got basic cable, but that I don't have Bravo now, so I need to call Comcast and make them turn back on my upgraded cable, but they cost too much money, man. Anyway, okay, so that was one, and then another thing. You're going to send me a link to every show, period. Thank you, boo. I want Love and Hip Hop Miami. I want Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I got Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you, boo. And I want some of the, whatever other show y'all want me to see. Okay, and review. Okay, so another thing that I noticed on one of the episode that I saw on this show was that there was this 34 or so, maybe early to mid 30s woman, beautiful. When I tell you, she looked like, oh, girl, the girl's skin was so dark and pretty. I wanted to lick her cheek. Like I was like, sis, you are so pretty. Her skin was beautiful. Her teeth were beautiful. Her hairstyle was nice. I can't remember her name, but she was the one who was married to the formerly married to the football player. And I think she has one or two children or whatever. Sis was they went out, and she's about 34, right? Sis was out at some party in skin tight clothes, okay, with the 24-year-old Florida Gator girl, and was in a club. Like it was an outdoor party kind of thing in Rome. And she was out there and she was like dancing up with, all the guys. And I say that to say the guys were no more than 25 years old. Okay? Maybe 26, right? Now, her looks wise, she fit right in because she's a beautiful girl. It wasn't like a 50-year-old woman in there like, fist pumping with some 25-year-olds. No, she was in her, she was, youthful and energetically and beauty-wise enough to be in that crowd. But it just wasn't where she was going to find somebody that she really wanted to be with. And you guys know my other mantra, location, location, location. Outside of looks do matter. Location, location, location as it relates to dating. If you're 34, don't go where 25-year-olds be at to find a boo. If you're in the U.S., you don't do that. And you damn sure don't do it when you're in Italy. Now, mind you, yes, you could say, oh, but, I was there. And, if I'm there, then there are other 35-year-olds there, other 37-year-olds there. So, maybe I could go there and find them. Yeah. But you're trying to increase your chances. You know what I mean? And you're trying to increase your chances. And if they're 35 and you're 35 and they're in a place where majority 25-year-olds are, where do you think their mentality is? Where do you think their mentality is? Now, she was there because one, she's on the show. Two, she was partially taking this as a vacation because she was like, I got kids at home. I'm divorced. I'm trying to live my life. I'm trying to have fun. Yeah, and all of that. And I'm not saying don't do that. You know what I mean? But I was just pointing out that yeah, you could do all of that. You don't always have to go where all the old fogies be at all the time. You don't always have to go there. But just know that if you are going overseas to date, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go overseas and I'm going to take a sabbatical from work. I am going to go teach English. I am going to go study for my master's. I'm going to go study for 8 weeks to learn another language in Paris, in Korea, in Spain, Madrid, and in Italy, or something like that. Don't go over there thinking, oh, I'm going to go hang out with 21-year-olds when you're 34. Find a squad. Find your squad, and that's age appropriate. Otherwise, you just making your chances really, really slim. You know what I mean? And so I know people don't really think about that here in the U.S. And then when they go overseas, it's like on the show, it was like they weren't thinking about that. Like that's not a place where a 34-year-old woman needs to be in a place where like 40-year-old men are. 35 to 40-year-old men. Where would those men be? And then you be like, oh, they boring. You go to hang out in those ratchet places with your girlfriends and just to have fun. But when you actually going to date and trying to date a substantial man, you don't go to those places to actually look for legit prospects. You go to the nicer places to look for legit prospects for dating. And then when you just want to turn up and have fun, that's where you go. But then don't be in there fraternizing with these 25-year-olds, like popping coochie on a 25-year-old and you're 34. Making out with a 26-year-old in the corner of some dark club when you're 34. Guess what, sis? There's a thing called Snapchat and Instagram stories. Your behind will be on there, like, with videos. And then when you hang out with basic dudes, other basic dudes think that, oh, that's a caliber, and they get confused by you because you might you might look beautiful, and you might look like a catch, and you might look like, oh yes, this is a woman I need to treat. But when they see you entertaining these 25-year-olds or these real basic dudes, they know right away that you're confused about who you are and what you bring to the table, and they either treat you bad or they won't come talk to you at all, like the nicer, the ones that are more put together men. So you have to be careful about how you're presenting yourself in the world in terms of who you are fraternizing with or who you kicking it with. Even when you're just like, whatever, I'm not in anything serious, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to have fun. Okay, people be watching, people be lurking. Just like half of y'all lurking in the comments right now and ain't announced yourself. That was shade. You guys know when you come in to It's Kells Collective, when you come into the collective, please announce yourself in the comments. Let me know where you are watching from and what are you sipping on tonight. I am sipping on some kind of organic tea. No caffeine for me tonight. Also, do me a favor, smash that like button. I see none of you guys have already done that, and I super appreciate it. It helps me get noticed in this big, wide world of YouTube. Also, subscribe and put your notifications on. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. So those were some of my observations from that To Rome for Love, the one lonely episode that I saw. What are some of your observations? If you guys have been watching that show, let me know some of the observations that you've made, and maybe if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to comment on in terms of, hey, Christy Smith, thank you, girly, for watching. Hey, Militia, how are you? From Florida, from Atlanta in the building. I saw Bronx in the building. DB, I saw you, boo. Roosevelt is in Kuwait right now. Good morning, Roosevelt. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm about to jump in the comments. Shall I jump in the comments? But yeah. So the show. So let me just to reiterate, because I know some of you guys came late. The show is about a matchmaker bringing some women from the U.S. over to Rome for love. And so essentially the word has gotten out that Italy is the place to be for, I guess, Black women if you want to have that foreign boo or that foreign love. And not Roosevelt, DB had said before that that's been like a decade-old thing, which I didn't know. I had no idea. I will say that when I was moving over to London, everybody was like, oh, you're going to find your husband. You're going to find your husband. You're going to get married and you're never going to come back to the U.S. And I had like when I was going, I was like, what is this people talking about? Like, why do they keep saying that? Because I had no idea, like, I legitimately had no idea why people were saying that. And then when I went over there, I saw, because your reception is different. Your reception, how people receive you, how people treat you, your desirability, your perceived desirability, how you feel, how people chase you down, how people want to talk to you, how people do talk to you. All of those things are totally different in different places that you go. I have a video on here that people run you, like chase you down on the street. Stockholm, I have a video about that. Paris, people are running their hands through your hair. And it's so funny because if somebody ran their hands through your hair in the US, you'd be like, are you dumb? Like, what? You don't touch a black woman's hair, in the US. But in Paris, for some reason, they run their hands through your hair and you're like, yes, yes. So Paris is romantic. You hear me? It's dangerous, but it's romantic. You know what I mean? In London, when they're like, "You're right, you're right. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're right," and you're like, these accents, yes. You know what I mean? Like, oh my word, oh my word. They say a lot. So these accents and these things, when you go over, who you are changes, who you are blossoms. You know what I mean? So when I said earlier in the broadcast, like when you go over there, don't just go and bring the exact same thing that you're serving, it's Kells realness in the US. Don't go to the UK and go to Stockholm or go to Italy and serve the same it Kells. You know what I mean? Observe first and foremost, and then it'll allow you to bring a different version of yourself. That was the biggest thing that I learned in the UK. When I hope you guys understand when I say masculine versus feminine. It does not mean male versus female. Each of us embodies masculine traits and feminine traits, and certain traits energetically align to masculinity, and certain traits energetically align to femininity. And so in the US, a lot of the traits that are glorified as the better traits to have are very masculine energetically. And when I went over to Europe and to the UK, those I was allowed to I didn't even realize that I was so driven in a very by masculine society, that when I went over to the UK, and it was less masculine and more introverted, more passive. I was comfortable. I was comfortable being more quiet. I was comfortable being more feminine. I was comfortable listening more, being by myself more. I was comfortable, maybe not driving as much conversations or not being as much of a go-getter, or it was less effort. Everything was just less effort, and I was reaping better results. In the US, we are business, drive, hustle, go, go, go. I got my real work, then my side hustle, then I'm volunteering, and then I'm studying, and then I'm running an online business, and then I'm doing YouTube videos, and then, I'm working out, and then we do the most. You hear me? Americans do the absolute most. And when you go other places, you don't need all of that. Your handshake, don't have to break a man's hand. You know what I mean? I'm about to say N-word. It don't have to break a ninja's hand. You know what I mean? Like, these types of things you have to learn to adapt to. And when I started to adapt to a softer version of me, I really liked it. I really liked it. And when I was forced to come back to the States, I said to myself, I am going to keep the softer Kells. I'm going to keep the more feminine Kells. I'm going to keep the more introspective, introverted Kells, and try to deliver that version of myself in the US. And in some instances it works, and on some instances it doesn't. And so I say that to say, if you are going overseas for love, if you're going overseas to study or to work, I do have a video about 8 ways you can move overseas. After this video goes live, I'll link it in the little eye up here, and or you could just search for it on my channel. When you do that, be open. Understand that you are going to see a different version of yourself, and expect that. Expect to have and to present a different version of yourself, and be open to that. At the top of this broadcast, I was talking about American expectations. A lot of the women on this To Rome for Love show, I noticed that they were talking about the men. The men were European men. right? So they were well dressed and they were macking to the women in their third or fourth language. Okay? In the US, we know English, Ebonics, Bougetto Ratchet, Spanish if you're lucky, French, Creole, eh, if you lucky. Okay? Those are the languages we know here. When you get over to Spanglish, pero, oh yeah, no, I know Spanglish, no, but pero, that, we know that. When you get over to Europe, these people know 4, 5, 6 languages. So when they're speaking, when a man is macking to you, macking, you know what I mean by that, trying to talk to you. Hey, Josie, what's up? When a man is trying to mac to you and English is not his first language, first of all, imagine what balls that takes. What kind of ovaries does that take? 2, that's impressive. And 3, that's kind of romantic. And you should be a little flattered because he wanted to talk to you so much that he's speaking a different. How about you go over someplace and go try to talk to somebody and go to Canada and Montreal and them and go try to mac to somebody in French, and French is that is there, you need to respect that a little bit, right? And I found that the women on the show, they were like, kind of snubbing their nose down. Oh, he didn't say the right thing, or I didn't understand what he was talking about, or they were kind of not cutting the gentleman some break. Now, mind you, this is a television show, so the women are on extremes to try to create good TV. So I understand that might not be realistic, but I bring it to, you guys wanted a review of the show, so I bring you a review of the one singular episode that I seen. Lust for Life says she gonna send me all the episodes, so maybe I'll have a different opinion as I see more of the shows. But just understand that these men know a lot of languages for the most part, and probably if you go to England, obviously they're going to be speaking to you in English, but their lingo is going to be different as well. A lot of times when I try to imitate, I'm losing it now because I've been home for like 3 years. But when I first came back, my English accent, my imitation of the English accent was really sharp. But they'll say a lot of time, "You're all right, you're all right, you all right," and I never knew how to respond to that. I'm like, do I say good? Or okay, or what, or thank you, like what are they asking me? And essentially, so even when I say that to say, even when you're in an English speaking place, their lingo is different. You know what I mean? So respect that a little bit. And I found on the show that the ladies was like snubbing on their nose, like, he can't even talk English right. But you can't talk English right. How about that? You know what I mean? So be careful of judging somebody's intellect based on how they articulate themselves, because I could speak very properly, or I could throw that neck too, you know what I mean? So these men are speaking to you, macking to you in a different language. Another thing is that, so they were criticizing the men and the way they were articulating themselves. Then they were criticizing the men as like, oh, he's not that cute, or he's not that he's not that sexy, based on American standards. So one of the girls, she picked this little old hipster looking dude with his hair up in a top knot bun. And I was like, honey, that's a scrub. That's a scrub in the US, and you're going to go over to Italy and pick a scrub? Sis, that is not what's sexy in the US is not necessarily what's sexy in Europe. What's well-established gentlemen who can provide and protect you and one that you would want to marry in the US is not necessarily the same look. Excuse me. So that goes back to the ooh, excuse me. That tea's making me burp. I don't know if I like that organic tea. So understand what sexiness is, what debonair is, won't necessarily translate. Just like the stereotypes of you in the US won't necessarily translate in Italy or wherever you go. The stereotypes of a good man, one that you would actually not just want to date or F-buddy or, hook up with, but marry, the look of that man will be different in different places. So some of these women, these men were like, these men just, I'm going to say this, and y'all know, these men just look like money. You know what I mean? They just look like elegance. They just look like they will give you a lifestyle you could never dream of. They look like Prince Harry. You know what I mean? And the girls were over there snubbing their nose, talking about, oh, he's not cute. Honey, cute don't pay mortgage, sis. Cute don't pay mortgage, honey. Top knot bun boy, he don't pay mortgage. You know what I mean? He's not going to create a lifestyle for you. You know what I mean? That you're going to want to live. So stop talking about doggone cute, especially when you go overseas. Talk about he's not cute. He's not sexy. Se- se- Sexy. When since sexy pay a bill? Unless you a prostitute something. A pimp something. You know what I mean? Like, even then. Even then. At least money coming in. I mean, like, so they were talking about some things that I found to be very basic. And when you're dating and when you have to look at the real things when you're dating. When you're dating interracially, this bad boy, this thug, tatted up, man that treats you like crap, that a lot of women pine for or think like, oh, I can earn his love. I gotta work for his love. Masculine American mentality. You don't have to work, that's not what you're not trying to earning somebody's love, somebody who snubs up their nose at you or tells you, I don't usually date dark skinned women. I don't usually date black women, but you look good. Oh, I don't gotta call you back. I don't gotta text you back. You know what I mean? Like, that type of stuff where you're like, ooh, he's so sexy, he's so fine, he's so sexy, he's so fine. The older I get, when I start hearing women saying that, I'm like, oh, you still on that middle school, high school, college thing. Oh, you haven't really realized that, actually beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and he doesn't have to, the cuter they are, you haven't found the inverse relationship between cute and good husband material. You ain't realized that the cuter they are, the less husband material they are. But you might not be looking for husband. That's correct. You might be looking for F buddy, or you might be looking for boyfriend. But if you're looking for husband material, cute might not be on the top of the list. Now, somebody just said, oh, easy on the eyes. Absolutely. Nobody said you had to get with Shrek. You don't got to be Shrek. You know what I mean? But you do have to understand that, looks for a woman is one thing. Looks for a man is a different thing. There's, social contracts, and there's certain things that are valued in women, and there's certain things that are valued in men, and sometimes we get our wires crossed. And I saw that on the show. The girls were talking about cute, and I was looking at the show, and I was like, that man is not ugly. I mean, he's not a bad boy. I don't know what you think is cute, but based on when they were talking about the certain men, and I looked at the men and they're like, oh, he's not cute. I was like, oh, you must want one of them pretty boys, them baby hair boys or something. What do you want? Because this man his teeth are nice. His complexion is fine. His height is fine. He's well dressed. He had on a blazer. He was put together. He ain't have on no wrinkly t-shirt, crushed up polo shirt. Like how you see these guys. So pretty girl, you late. You gonna come now to about what I missed? Girl, you late. We 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 48 minutes into the broadcast, but you're gonna have to watch it back. Oh, you're at work. Okay, sis. Make your money. Make your money. Okay. So, so what's attractive, and I'm rambling here, so apologies, but what's attractive and good looking in the States is not necessarily going to be the same thing overseas. So be open to understanding that, what you're looking for will have to shift, and who you present yourself to be will have to shift, and who you are will shift dramatically as well. Um, so for those of you guys just joining us, we are giving a little very premature, very lightweight review of the new Bravo show, To Rome for Love, where they've sent like 5 or 6 women over there with a matchmaker to try to find love. And you guys have asked me to give my feedback on all of that. And I've been said on these broadcasts a million times, the more you want your ego stroke, you want to feel like a baddie, go to Italy. You know what I mean? And so all of a sudden, so now they have this new show on Bravo doing just that. But I just presented some commentary on some of the observations that I made about the women in terms of their expectations as Americans, their femininity, their tattoos, the way they dress, the way they assimilate into the new culture if you're going overseas, in terms of are you observing what works here and then merging your personality and your Americanness and your pop and zing with what works there? Or are you just coming in and bulldozing your American personality in? Because we have a tendency to do that culturally, and we stick out like a sore thumb when you go other places. You know what I mean? And that will get you robbed, that will get you scammed, that will get you looked down on. You know what I mean? So you have to know, when you're going overseas to do anything, travel or for love, be cognizant of how you're presenting yourself. And then we talked about your style of dress. We talked about that. We talked about self-esteem issues when you're going overseas, and that sass, that attitudinal black woman, that angry black woman, when it's really just a mask for hurt and a protection, a way of protecting yourself. So you have to work on that internal dialogue. You have to work on that self-care. That, do you feel deserving enough to be loved? It is easy for me to love and to receive love. That was an affirmation I talked about in one of my broadcasts, like two or three times ago. It's like those affirmations. Are you speaking life into yourself? Because if you are not, and if you have not done the internal work, you could go from here to Timbuktu thinking you about to find somebody to love you. And if you can't love your damn self, if you can't love your damn self, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? So don't go overseas. Some of these men be trying to go to Brazil, talk about they gonna pick up a Latina, you know, with a booty and breasts from Brazil. Don't know that these women will scam the draws off you. Okay, so right now we're talking about the show and we're talking about women going overseas, but I be seeing y'all brothers talking about y'all trying to go to Brazil to find love, and trying to go to a mail order bride from Asia, and trying to go to Russia and Czechoslovakia and them places, trying to get you a blonde hair, blue eye who will listen to you when you talk. Ooh, I'm shady tonight, ain't I? What is in this tea? It got me burping and it got me throwing all kinds of shade. Pardon me tonight, guys. So yeah, like, so those types of things about you know, being attitudinal and not coming across as an angry black woman, and really doing the work to make sure that you could let down that anger, let down that pretense, that guard, that attitude is there for. And I saw some women in the show. I was like, sis, you need to work on your self-esteem. You know what I mean? And if you think trying to find somebody, date somebody, or love somebody, or marry somebody is going to validate you, it is not. You have to be able to validate yourself first and foremost, and do the internal work. You know, and so we talked about that. If you missed it, you're going to have to watch this broadcast back when it goes live, and to get all the little tidbits that I threw out there. So we talked about their little attitudes and their little angry black woman thing that I saw. And then we also talked about 34-year-olds or 35-year-olds or 45-year-olds hanging out with 21s and 25s and, you know, these young boys. You know what I mean? It's like location, 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 you know, and I saw that on the show a little bit. And then I also saw people wearing outfits that just were not age appropriate. You know, but, you know, to each his own, and everybody has their taste in men. And I didn't say that as a disclaimer beforehand, so I'll say it now before y'all clap back talking about, oh, everybody don't want an ugly European old man Kells. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just be mindful of your mindset about what you want and what you desire and why, when you're here domestically at home and when you travel, because the issues that you have here at home don't necessarily dissipate when you go overseas. Now, you will indeed be received differently. You might feel more beautiful. You might feel more elegant and more feminine and more less stressed, and that might attract different energy and men, both men and women, to you. It will attract different audiences to you. But you can do that at home too, just by moving to moving from, you know, Miami to DC. But for the most part, the U.S. is very similar anywhere you go. So, but you will find that when you go overseas, you will attract different people energetically. You'll be different, and you will blossom in a way that that you never thought. if you go over with the right attitude and looking for that with the intention of blossoming, with the intention of being a new version, a better version of yourself, with the intention of meeting people and becoming easy to love and be loved. Becoming easy, finding it easy to love and be loved. And I throw that in there because that's an affirmation that I think a lot of us need to work on. It is easy for me to love, and it's easy for me to be loved. All right, so that's enough. That's a lot. It's a lot of you in here tonight. Please let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about right now as it relates to going overseas for love. As I said earlier, when I was moving to London, everybody and their mama was like, "Oh Lord, Kells ain't coming back. She's gonna move overseas. She's gonna get married. Some British English man with ugly teeth is gonna snatch her up. And she ain't never gonna go back to the U.S." And that's what everybody was saying. And when I tell you, every time I spoke to anybody at home when I was overseas in London, it'd be like, "When you coming home? When you coming home? When you coming home?" I was like, "You have a job for me? You have money for me? What you have for me at home that you making me trying to make me run home?" And it was like everyone was just so scared that I was gonna say, and I did not know why until I went there. And when I went there, I was like, "Oh, now I know why Tina Turner and Madonna and all the black entertainers and Eve and all of them be, over here, in the UK, living their very best life, is because your reception is just so different and so light, as an American." All right, guys, I'm tired of rambling. I'm going to jump in the comments real quick, because I'm not going to be on for too much longer. It's a Sunday night. I got to get my beauty rest. You have to get your beauty rest. We got to prepare for Monday. So I'm going to jump in the comments right quick and see what you guys are talking about, because we're learning from the collective wisdom of the itskellscollective community. Which squad more lit than the itskellscollective collective? I'll wait. Comments now. All right, let's see. Tell me what you want me to talk about. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of you in here tonight, and you guys are so vocal. I so appreciate that. If you've not taken a moment to smash that like button, do me a favor. It helps me do that. It helps me get noticed in this big wide world of YouTube. Also, subscribe and put your notifications on, because I don't want to hear it tomorrow. "I missed your last live." Yeah, because you didn't put your notifications on. Do that. Even though I do jump on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and let you guys know that I'm going on live, but I'm getting tired of that. It's so much work. All right. Hey guys, I see you in here. Thank you for announcing yourself when you come in. You guys know when you come on in, announce yourself. Let me know where you are at, and let me know what you're sipping on, because sometimes we be sipping on tea and sometimes we be sipping on brown liquor. But tonight it's tea. All right. New York in the building, Atlanta in the building. Upstate New York, Texas. Agreed. The women are those women on that show, I feel, are too thirsty, loud, and crass. It really looks desperate and ratchet. From the one episode and the snippets I saw, Lust for Life, I kind of feel the same way, and that was what I was afraid of, because you guys know I recommend traveling a lot. But I didn't feel like I needed to put a disclaimer like, "Don't bring your ratchet ass overseas thinking anybody wants you." But apparently I do need to make that disclaimer. And also, take it with a grain of salt, because I realize that's a television show and they're trying for ratings. But it does leave a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. And it does make it seem like, black women are like kind of a little bit ratchet and a little bit, crass and loud, and don't know how to adapt to foreign places and move in seamlessly. And that is the contrary. That, like, black, we are adaptable, you know what I mean? So I wish they had one or two more bougie girls on there, a little more bougie, that would have been nice. But they got a lot of ratchets, presenting ratchets. They might not genuinely be ratchet, but they got some little rough around the edges women in there. And I wish they had a little bit more smooth and refined women as well, to show the diversity that is blackness. What else are y'all talking about? They were loud. I agree. Americans, we're real loud. We're real loud. And I remember that's how I could tell who the Americans were when I was studying, because you go to a pub, you go to a bar, and the one talking on the top of their lungs, black. Excuse me, not black. Oh, Lord, I'm being stereotypical. Not black. American. And actually, the one that I heard was a white guy. His name, he bless his heart, I love him to death. His name is Andrew. Andrew is loud, and so when I went to go study, the other American on my course was Andrew, and I'd never met him until I walked into a pub and heard an American accent booming over everybody else's conversation, and it was Andrew, white guy. So not black people, we are loud, but Americans in general are loud, and we stand out when we travel. So just be careful, be more quiet, and be observe a little bit more so that you can assimilate more smoothly. So also remember to write into It's Kells at remember, you guys need to write into me at itskellscollective at gmail.com and tell me the topics you want me to talk about. Send me your dating drama, your dating tea, all of that, and we'll talk about it here on the collective. All right. Even before you hit the pavement, Google the culture, the fashion, read their newspapers, or watch the news in their country to keep up on events. Everywhere I've been everywhere I've been opened their arms to me except Spain by simply embracing their culture and language. What's up with Spain? I have heard a couple things about the acceptance of black people not being so great in Spain. I've actually been to Madrid. I felt regular there. I didn't feel like a goddess. And I find Latin American countries have issues the same way that American has in terms of the color spectrum. And I'll leave it there. I've had a very discreet tattoo. Even the coroner might overlook. Same with piercings. Best to be discreet. Yeah, I was talking about earlier about how like American culture and the tattoo culture makes you stand out a little bit like a sore thumb. And as you get older, you might not want to align with a certain time period in your life. And so I just found that a lot of women on this Two Rome show just was tatted up and tattoos was showing. And I was just like, sis, I get it. I get your creativity, your expression, but it it puts you in a caliber, you know what I mean? So just be careful with your permanent beauty decisions. Um, Tam Johnson, I love your channel. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And you found us live. Thank you. Appreciate it. Um, just look classy, Island Chica says. Heading there in September. Great ideas. Vix, please keep us posted. Let us know how your European trip goes. Or if you're going to Africa, South America, wherever you're going, not just Europe. And it's an opportunity for you to practice more of your feminine grace when you travel. And so I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but just keep it in the back of your mind. And maybe when you travel, you'll see it and be like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Lust for Life says they're going to assume they're prostitutes. Okay. In parts, when you travel certain places, you have to be careful not to present yourself as a black woman. You have to be careful not to present yourself as a prostitute. Yes, there are places in the world that when you go, if you're too loud, if you're too crass, if you dress in too tight, too skimpy clothes, they're going to assume you are an escort or a woman of the night. And on one end, if you present a little bit more elegant and more classy, they're going to be like, oh my God, who is this goddess, this chocolate goddess? But if you present too ratchet, they're going to assume that you are a prostitute. So that's a very, very good point that Lust for Life just made. So be careful you understand the stereotypes that align to who you are in that country. Okay? It doesn't matter where you go, so long as you present well put together, you should not be mistaken for a prostitute. But if you wearing that Miami hot styles, a Fashion Nova tight ratchetness over in Europe, they are going to assume you selling punye. Okay? So I'm just gonna tell you right now, don't wear that tight ratchetness. Get you some loose fitting, elegant clothes. And if you don't know what to wear when you get there, observe first and foremost, and then go to Zara and Topshop and Mango and Reese, um, or Selfridges or one of these department stores and get you some nice loose fitting clothes. You know what I mean? Because they will think that you're a prostitute. That's a good point, and thanks for bringing that up. Lust for Life. All right. DB says, I've been to Rio twice. I still have to fan myself sometimes. Go over there, think y'all gonna pick up some easygoing Brazilian woman and she gonna scam you out your drawers. I told you that. Not that all of them are scammers, but they know American men be trying to go overseas and pick up women that they think are more beautiful, but more like easier than American women. They know. People are not everybody. You can smell an American, you can smell the money on an American. Understand that you might not be rich here in the US, but when you go overseas with your strong currency and your little clothes that you got at Marshall's, but that you know how to put together well, they looking at you like money, 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 money. You know what I mean? So when you go to richer countries, they'll look at you. They don't necessarily look at you like you have money. But when you go to poorer countries like Brazil or anywhere in South America, they're looking at you like you're rich. So you have to be a little understated, a little bit more understated to avoid getting scammed and to avoid getting robbed. Because they will do both. Paris, even in Paris, they will rob you. But that story of Kim Kardashian getting robbed in Paris, Naomi Campbell had said that happens to celebrities there all the time. It's just that the celebrities don't broadcast it. So certain places are dangerous. You have to read up on it and know the little scams and which pickpocketers and things like that. And so, read up on all of this. But y'all going to Brazil, talk about you gonna get a little baddie, and she, next thing you know, she needs to her mother's sick, and she needs this money to help her mom, and da 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 da. And you thinking, okay, let me help you. People know Americans got money. All right, let's see. MA says, let's get something straight. Transocean Atlantic location doesn't change the basic nature of men. Same nonsense happening here is happening there as well. That is true. Women don't get scammed. Men don't get scammed. Women don't get scammed. Men don't get scammed. Candace says, curious to see if she gets serious about finding someone. Hopefully in the show, I haven't seen but one episode, so hopefully she does get serious about it. If we're talking about the same person, Candace, I think we're talking about the same person. Roosevelt says, last summer, I was looking at the Dead Sea, looked across the sea and saw the country of Egypt, walked through the mountains of Jordan, visited the holy city of Petra. Please get out and travel. Better yourself. Sipping sangria, okay, summer drink in the dead of winter. Atlanta in the house, Florida in the house. Hey Pam, thanks for joining, girl. So Christy Smith says, I haven't seen it, but a friend of mine told me she was horrified by it and how the women were acting. Sis, the women are acting so bad. But I only see one episode and then some other snippets. The girls in here are gonna send me the full thing because I don't have cable. No, I have basic cable. Um, and they acting too ratchet. They need to be a little bit more sophisticated, and they need to be a little bit more open-minded in with what a good man looks like, especially when you're talking about foreign men. As I said before, these men are speaking to you in a different in their second or third or fourth language. So don't snub your nose on if their English is not perfect. And I know in the US here, you say one little misstep and they turning up their nose at you like, where you went to school, DeVry? You know what I mean? Like, but you can't do that overseas. So, but the women are acting a little rough on the show. And I know it's just for ratings, but it kind of makes it, I'm a little bit disappointed that they don't have like a couple of more refined women on there, or presenting refined women. Because the women might very well be refined and just bring in ratchet for the ratings. But I wish they would have some women that were dedicated to being a more refined, a more elegant version of who we are over there, so that it doesn't look like a poppy show or a mockery or a minstrel show. And right now, it's not that bad. Like those are very hard words. Like it's not super super bad, but it's a little rough around the edges, and it does make it seem like, ha, y'all ratchets think you're gonna go to Italy and find a man because you too ratchet to find a man in the U.S. Then you ain't gonna find no man, ha ha ha. You know, it kind of just leaves room for the whole concept to be made fun of. And so, at the top of this broadcast, I was saying, you have to be elegant when you go over to these places, and you have to work on that. And if you don't know what that means, do the research beforehand, and when you get there, observe before you go bull bucking in there with your brashness. You know what I mean? So that's for any woman. Because we're very brash and business oriented in the US. That's what makes us successful, that grind and that hustle. And that is not the same thing. That doesn't translate when you go to other places. I'll tell you this story. This is totally off topic, but I'll tell you one thing. When I was studying overseas, we were doing a group project. And in the group project, we had to divvy, I'm gonna tell it real fast. We had to we were divvying up the work. And so in America, when you have a group project, what you do is you try to divvy up the work with as equal as you can, right? Why do you think I blend in everywhere, Brooklyn 29? Kells, you blend in everywhere. Why do you say that? Um, I actually stand out quite a bit, but why do you think I blend in? We were doing a group project, and I was divvying up the work very equally. And in the US, that's what we do, because we're very much about equality. We're very much about equal. We're very much about, those kind of like politically correct things. I don't take it as an offense, Brooklyn. I just wanted to get your feedback. We're very, very much about those politically correct things. And there was a point that we were doing group work overseas, and I realized that certain other cultures weren't about that equality thing. And they were actually about they were more about the more work you did, the lower you were on the totem pole. So in the US, it's like hard work, the underdog, hustle, grind. And he's a hard worker. He's a hard working man. That's a compliment. Whereas other places on this earth, the more hard work you do, the more blue collar you are, the lower class you are. And they're looking down on you. Oh, work. Oh, I got an A in this and I barely studied. I presented that project and I didn't prepare at all. And in my head, I was like, oh, so that's seen as respectable in your culture. In some cultures, work is for poor people. Work is for the low class. You know what I mean? In some of these cultures. You know what I mean? So when you go over to these different places and you're leading with how much of a career person you are and how much work you do and how hardworking you are, and you're shaking their hand, crushing their little carpal tunnels and all this stuff in their hand, trying to show how, good, confident person and woman you are, they're really looking at you like, look at this low class blue collar. I don't want this low class blue collar, woman. So understand how certain things translate. And that's something that you might never be able to see on a YouTube video. This is something that I learned firsthand. I was like, oh, the less work, the higher class. Now, that's not every culture, but that was for one particular culture that was in my group project. And so I'm always mindful of that, of like how very American things feel or are perceived overseas or in different environments. So that's a little tip. I'm gonna have to start charging y'all for these tips. Um, DB says, "Ooh, what has been your experiences in Spain? Please tell me if you've been to Spain. I've been to Madrid, and my experience there was fine. It wasn't as nice as other places in terms of, people were like, ooh, but it was fine. But I'm seeing some comments about Spain. Christine said, do you feel American men value feminine women? Melissa says, I haven't seen it, but it sounds like they are reinforcing the stereotypes. I do believe that they're reinforcing some of the negative stereotypes of Black women on that show. Christine, I'm about to get to your comment. Blue Sky says, where can I watch To Rome with Love? It's To Rome for Love. I'm sorry, I think I've been saying with. To Rome with Love is a movie. To Rome for Love is a Bravo show we're talking about right now. Okay, do I feel American men value feminine women? That is a really, really good question. And I think I'm going to end on this question tonight, guys. I think that yes, I do think that they value feminine women, but I don't think that they know that they do. And I don't think that women, and I say the same thing for men and women. And I say this because right now we're all being conditioned as Americans to want the Jay-Z Beyonce relationship, where the woman is working like a man, being a sex symbol, being a mother, um, being like being five people in one. And then the man doing what men have always done, which is hopefully work and bring home some money and pay the doggone bills and make a safe home for the wife to raise the children. And what happens is that because women are like being this hustler grinder, like very they're playing both the man and a woman. They're playing both a masculine and a feminine role. What happens is that what men are like, oh yeah, I want that type. I want that type of woman. But then when they get that type of woman and she's bringing in more money than you, making all the decisions, chin checking you, telling you what she gonna do, what she ain't gonna do, what you gonna do, what he gonna do, correcting you, essentially treating you like an employee because she's a boss bitch and she's a corporate woman, and I'm a corporate woman. I'm speaking from firsthand experience. I'm not speaking like critical of something that I have no experience in. I'm a corporate woman. You know, she's treating you like and speaking to you like an employee, and y'all are going out on dates like y'all going out on interviews, job interviews. Then you're like, dang, why can't we relate, why can't we find anyone that we like? Is because who we're being told we should appreciate and want in a woman is not actually what we want. We want men like feminine women, you know what I mean? And that's why sometimes you get that disconnect, because women are like, I got everything. I got a master's, I got a MBA, I got a JD, I'm a doctor, I'm a baddie, I'm smart, I'm this, I'm that, and I still don't got a man. Why? Sis, because you're not feminine enough. And regardless of what men tell you, you need to be more feminine. Oh, I want a natural sister. You don't gotta wear that weave. You don't gotta wear that makeup. You don't gotta go to the gym. I like it a little thick. Sis, don't listen to them. Okay? Put your makeup on, put your hair, brush up your hair, take your behind in the gym, and be more feminine. And you will, those are my hard truths. You know what I mean? And if you test anything I say, take it with a grain of salt. But test it in your marketplace. Test it in your marketplace, right? And see for yourself. Use your critical thinking skills and test it in your market. You know what I mean? And so what I find is that men think that they want a Beyonce, but they really want, and you want a woman that has, you don't want like a total, inept woman. You do want a woman with some sense to her, but you want your woman to be feminine. You want your woman, they want it. Then when you start behaving in a more feminine way, when you start being able to receive compliments, being able to understand, like I'm deserving of love, and I don't have to do the most and be on a job interview and hustle and grind and try to bring in the same amount of money you bring it in, and doing all these things that put you in competition with a man. When you realize that you don't actually have to do that, you don't actually have to tell your man every single thing. You can talk to your girlfriends about certain things at work, or certain things, and bring more of the femininity. Bring to them what they don't already have. If you're bringing to a man exactly what he already has, all you're doing is putting yourself in competition with him. You have to bring something to a man that he doesn't already have. And pretty much the only thing that a woman bring to a man that he doesn't already have is her feminine grace, is her femininity, is the way she loves, is the way she cares, is the way she um, takes a house and turns it into a home, the way she takes a seed and turns it into a family, the way she amplifies the material possessions that he places at her feet. That is what a woman's value is. And so if you think your value as a woman is only bringing in money, you need to just do some critical thinking and some more research on the true value of femininity and the true value of a woman and the distinct value of a woman, something that makes her completely different than a man. And when you bring that to the market, that is the value. And so men are being conditioned just like we are to think that women should be paying half of every doggone thing and paying half of rent and paying half of this, and I don't need a man for anything and I could pay for anything. And I'm not gonna. White women are like this too. All women, all of these women are being conditioned to think that I should not have to take anything from you, and I don't, and and no, and I'm gonna pay for this, sis. A man does not want another man across the table from him unless he's gay, you know. And so what I find is that you could be this woman that is like, brings a lot to the table, but when you get in the presence of a man, work on your be sure to bring that femininity, that sultriness, that sexiness, that care, and not pushover. You do have to keep your standards high. So sometimes you have to tell them, no, I don't go for drinks. You can take me to dinner. No, I don't go for Starbucks. But we can go for lunch at, Farmers, Fishers, Bakers over there by the Southwest waterfront. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying be a pushover and be too caring, but bring your standards, but also bring your femininity, and you will be shocked at how they're like, damn, this woman got beauty and braids, but there's something about her. There's something about her. What is it that's so alluring and mysterious and drawing to me? And it's your femininity. So I say all that to say, Christine, that yes, I do think that American men value femininity, but I think that they might not know it by name. They know it by feeling. And I think we're all being conditioned to be more masculine than we really need to be. And I think that women need to also understand how to bring your natural gifts to the table and not to downplay them, because they're not the same gifts that men bring to the table. So, was that long-winded and drawn out? I'm good for that. Oh, hey, guys, we've been on for 83 minutes. I think I'm gonna jump for the evening because it is Sunday night. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. First of all, it's a lot of you in here tonight. So I know you guys like this topic. I might have to revisit this topic. If there's anything in particular about going overseas for love that you want me to talk about, drop it in the comments. Mr. Thug for Life, boo, you late. You coming in at 9:30? Where you been at? So put your notifications on and subscribe. You wouldn't have missed it. Thank you, boo. So, if there's anything in particular that you want me to talk about or expand on, or anything you heard me talk about tonight that you're like, I didn't know what she's talking about, she need to explain that better, drop that in the comments after this video goes live, and let me know. Okay. I do these videos so you guys know you're not out here alone in this sometimes crazy dating world. If this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer, good looking out, thanks for coming. Give this video a thumbs up. I'll wait. Oh, so y'all not gonna get the video a thumbs up? Rude. Anyway, so when y'all feel like it, give the I see the thumbs up. I see the thumbs up coming. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. And put your subscriptions on. Let me see what you guys are talking about. I'm gonna do one last breeze through this. Oh, I hope my lipstick wasn't messed up this whole time. I'm gonna do one last breathe through the comments, and Lord, I spilled something through the comments, and then we're gonna call it a night. Let's see. Linda Morena says, "You are speaking the truth. Male energy craves feminine energy." Also, if you guys write into me on the It's Kells Collective at Gmail box, please, 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 please let me know if you want me to mention your name or not. And I think moving forward, I am not going to mention your names because it is very difficult for me to edit these lives. And so if I mention something that you didn't tell me not to mention, um, it throws my game off. And plus, I do these lives because they don't require a lot of editing. It just allows me to connect with you guys directly and candidly. And I really, really like that. And so I don't want to start editing these lives. And YouTube does not make it easy to edit on their little thing. That's why nobody edits on YouTube's thing. You edit in your MacBook, you know, you're on your iMovie or in your editing app, and then you bring it over because it's really, really difficult. So if you write into me, you know, you're dating drama, you're dating tea, just let me know very distinctly if you are allowing me to speak this on camera. um DB says, in Rhoda, Spain, I was treated pretty shabbily by the locals who weren't used to seeing black men with education. They believe all blacks are very uneducated. So sometimes when you travel, just like when you travel in the US and you can go to like DC, New York, Miami, these very LA, Dallas, Chicago, you know, Seattle, and these places where they're used to seeing educated black people and they know to come correct. But then you could go to some place like, I don't even know, Tuscaloosa, and they're not used to seeing educated black, and they treat you kind of, they just assume that they can treat you any kind of way. It's the same kind of thing that you need to be aware of when you travel. You know what I mean? So just understand that you might be in you know, just like you say you in Redneckville in the US, you might be in Redneckville in Spain, and they're treating you like how they think they should treat black people. So there is that instance as well. Christine, I say, would a woman enjoy a man that does not respect, protect her as a feminine woman? So when you bring your femininity, you are going to be looking for a man that values that and knows how to provide and protect for a feminine woman. So men, if you want this feminine woman, you need to understand that you need to create an environment for her femininity to flourish. And if you want a feminine, submissive woman, but you want her to pay all these bills and be out there grinding like a man, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I don't think men have fully understood that. And we haven't been groomed. We think that everybody wants a super mama, the single woman, the single mom mentality where she's going out, getting the bacon, frying the bacon, coming in, gotta be sexy, gotta do this. You're asking a woman to be an octopus, essentially. You know what I mean? So if you want that feminine, delicate woman, be able to provide and protect for her and create and earn, build a home that she can, her femininity can flourish, so that she can focus on being that lover, that carer, that sexy, mysterious woman, that soft receiver. And if you know, if you can't do that, you gonna get Sharkeisha, who gonna chin check you about why you didn't wash up the dishes before she got home. So yeah. All right, guys. God, comments look so good tonight. Let me see. I'm supposed to jump already. Um, my experience in Spain was great, both Madrid and Barcelona, no problem. I had a good time in Madrid. I haven't been to Barcelona. I need to go. Brooklyn says you can converse with anyone and you seem adventurous. That's true. That's a good perception of my personality because I pretty much can converse with anyone and I am adventurous. I am adventurous. So when I encourage you to travel, you do have to have a little bit of the confidence and the adventurous. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to call it an evening. I appreciate you guys joining me. All right, guys. Bye. Oh my God, you guys are so awesome. Good night, guys.